Magandang tanghali. Our goal in life is to help people achieve lives of value. And that's what my talk is on today. It's about achieving a life of value. Now, everybody already has value. As a matter of fact, life, I read a quote by Albert Einstein here a few years ago. I don't know if he said this or not, but I agree with it. And apparently Einstein said, the most important thing in the universe is life. Everything else is subordinate. Life is the most important thing. And I think it was Arthur Schopenhauer back in the late 1700s who said that the will to life is the most important thing, and that's what motivates people and keeps them going. And then later on, you had Nietzsche bringing in his big ego and said, no, it's the will to power. And then, of course, you had Viktor Frankl coming along years later saying, no, it's giving meaning to your life. That's what gives your life, that's what makes for a wonderful life, giving your life meaning and value and purpose. And I've come to believe that in our modern society, that pretty much the will to survive has really been addressed by the technology. So people don't really have that will to survive anymore because we're living such long lives. We've got modern medicine to help us out, and people aren't dying off at an early age due to starvation, or at least the majority of the industrialized world. We've got now people are dying because they're eating too much junk food. They're getting heart attacks. They're becoming miserable. And I found that if you live a virtuous life, that you can achieve a meaningful, valuable life. And so that's what we do in our group. And our group is all about helping people achieve a meaningful life. And we do that by helping people achieve value. And you achieve value by improving your condition. It's a lifelong, ongoing project. And guess what? We all have the same tasks that we have to perform. It was the psychologist Carl Jung who said that anxiety is like a little thermostat going off in our head that says, hey, something's wrong. If you're having anxiety or depression, that's your brain going, something's wrong. And so that's a good thing, because then you know what's going wrong. And Carl Jung said, you know what's going wrong? He said, you're not doing your tasks. Well, it turns out in order to have a good human condition, we all pretty much have the same tasks. Now, we didn't used to have the same task 2,000 years ago, but we kind of did. Our task 2,000 years ago was to survive. Now we don't have to worry about surviving because we live in this modern technological world where surviving has become pretty much just taken for granted. So now everybody was following the Nietzsche plan, will to power. I want money, I want power, I want status, I want wealth, I want to be loved, I want all this stuff, and basically I want power. And power is a good thing. You need to have some power. But we're going intrinsically and we're saying, then do your tasks. So what are your tasks? Well, you want to have good physical health, right? So what are your tasks if you want good physical health? Can't be going to McDonald's and eating their French fries and drinking that milkshake and eating all them hamburgers as Donald Trump would say, hamburgers, and you can't be sitting on your butt and playing video games all day long and enjoying your life by going out for dinner and going out with your friends and playing on your cell phone the entire time. I mean, that's not doing your task. You got to exercise. You got to meditate. That's a task. You got to calm this dissonant mind down, this anxiety and this depression. So you want to do your tasks, physical tasks, anxiety, get over that anxiety. Physical tasks, exercising, and there's all kinds of exercise. You need a balance of exercise. You need to have a good diet. You need a good nutritional program. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm going to tell you what I eat, which is I intermittent fast. I'm actually OMAD. I eat one meal a day. Sometimes I alternate day fast. I fasted up to 22 days before. It's not a big deal. You can actually fast up to 70 days. First time I tried fasting, I was 15 years old. I was a fat kid. And after a 21-day fast, I was no longer a fat kid. And I made it. And it really wasn't that difficult. Matter of fact, you kind of lose your appetite after a few days. So you don't have all those hormones. You don't have this mind going, I'm craving this and I'm craving that. That's kind of how you overcome the mind saying, "Oh, I need that dopamine fix. I gotta have my cell phone." Right? You know how you get when the electricity goes out and you can't play on your cell phone or watch your TV or turn on the lights. It's like you get pissed off. You're almost out there ready to kill somebody because the electricity went off and you can't. Or if the internet goes out, it's like, oh my God, your whole day has been destroyed. And your whole day will be set like that if you haven't developed the right habits and routines. So do your tasks, exercise. Like Jack LaLanne said, one of my mentors and models, and I followed him ever since I was a little kid, because my parents would take me over to my auntie's when we were just like 5 and 6 years old. So this was back in the late 50s. And Jack LaLanne was on the TV, early 60s, late 50s, and he started in the early 50s. He was really the first exercise guru. And he even developed a lot of, he developed the stretch bands, and of course they named jumping jacks after Jack LaLanne. He was doing these simple exercises. The exercises don't have to be hard. You just got to get moving. And so what we found is these exercises, just we follow a secular path of Buddhism. Take the middle path. It doesn't have to be intense or hard. You just have to exercise every day. Half hour to a couple hours every day. Get it done in the morning. Get all that stuff that you don't want to do done in the morning. Do it. I have the best food in the world. People go, oh, how can you only eat one meal a day? It's because after a few days, you no longer have that hormone response of your mind going, oh, I gotta eat something. And so do your tasks. What are your tasks? Exercise, diet, meditation, and study. You gotta study. If you don't study, if you don't read, if you don't write, if you don't learn things, and of course, the main thing that we emphasize is learn those virtuous qualities in life. Learn to be a moral and ethical person, because that's the foundation of Buddhism, secular Taoism, secular Confucianism. Become a virtuous person. Stoicism, and we teach all this. And I want you guys to go out there and watch YouTubes on Stoicism, secular Buddhism, secular Taoism, secular Confucianism. Start figuring this stuff out. And it's not only going to help you live a virtuous life, it's going to help you adapt. When the electricity goes out, you can't play your video games. You're going to be too busy doing other, more important things. Read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's my Bible. We teach people to become independent. You got to be proactive. You got to take responsibility. That's a moral virtue. You got to take initiative. If you don't take initiative in life, and this starts when you're a little kid, like you're only 2 years old. If you 2 or 3 years old, if you can't take initiative and go out there and interact with other little children and be cooperative and kind, develop those good personality traits, of having a smile on your face, being helpful, then you're going to have trouble in life. You're going to have low credibility. So even if you have value, if you're not a little bit charismatic and kind of friendly, you're going to have trouble. So this is what we teach. So we're teaching people get a balance, have a good life, and I've asked ChatGTP. I said, hey, ChatGTP, give me the answer on this. If a person lives a virtuous, if they live by virtuous moral standards and virtuous ethical principles, can they achieve a life of well-being? And that's our goal, to achieve a life of well-being and have value. And you got to have value if you're going to achieve a life of well-being and eudaimonia. Eudaimonia, happiness, well-being, it's the whole shebang. It's all rolled into one. It's what Sam Harris talks about. Got to tell the truth. If it's not true, don't say it. Sometimes even if it is true, don't say it. You don't want to upset people, right? People don't need to hear that they're fat. People don't need to hear your opinions on how they look. People don't want you coming up to them and saying, hey, you got holes in your shoes. They don't want to hear that shit. You don't always have to tell the truth, but you want to believe things that are true. And so I'm advising everyone out there, focus on these things that we know are true, not unfalsifiable supernatural claims. An unfalsifiable claim is a claim that cannot be proven true, and it cannot be proven false. But it's also based on no evidence, because there's no evidence for the supernatural. So before you can really live a virtuous life, sometimes you got to get rid of those anchors that are holding you back. And a limiting belief, like belief in a God, a soul, or an afterlife, is a limiting, fixed-minded belief. And a fixed-minded belief, you're going to have a lot of trouble getting along with people. You're going to be in your own little group of people who all believe the same nonsense, and you're never going to unite with other groups of people who believe in their nonsense. And you're definitely not going to you're definitely going to have trouble getting along in the real world, because all that nonsense is not based on reality. It's based on all the nonsense that you put into your head. So you got to get rid of those limiting beliefs, and we can teach you how to do that. The nice thing about Disciples of Tao is because we focus on these secular philosophies of Buddhism, Taoism, humanism, Stoicism. We teach NLP methodologies, science, critical thinking skills, and we use slight edge philosophy, and we use sharpening the saw to help people achieve their goals. The more people that do this, the happier you're going to be, the healthier you're going to be, and you're going to sleep well at night, and you're going to feel good at night. Yeah? And so I'm going to wrap this up now, and this is going to be, again, a little bit of an introduction as to why we do what we do. Because I can tell you why I do what I do. I'm always happy. I didn't used to be, but I'm always happy now. I don't have to stick that fake smile on my face. So to all of you. Like and subscribe. And if you don't, hey, that's okay. Eventually, I'll hit enough people out there that will like and subscribe. And namaste.